Migrating to a new platform, it can be a scary and fraught transition, but for a growing company, it's necessary. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, Director of Editorial Content at MarketingSherpa. We're here at the MarketingSherpa Media Center at IRCE. I'm joined now by Osher Karnowsky, the General Manager of JomaShop.com. Thanks for joining us, Osher.
Sure, no problem, pleasure.
So for those not familiar with JomaShop, tell me a little bit about it. It's a pretty big site, huh?
Sure, we first opened in 1999. We were traditionally wholesalers, and we started going online, looking for another channel to get rid of excess inventory. And we've grown ever since. We sell high-end luxury watches, but we really have full breadth and scope. We sell from Casio all the way to Patek Philippe. We also do some luxury handbags, and business is growing.
Okay, great. And I think you said you're number 204 on the Internet Retailer?
I believe it's 206, I think.
206, okay,
Yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And so you said because business was growing, you had to migrate to a new platform.
We did. We migrated onto the Magento Enterprise platform approximately 3 months ago. And since we moved on to the new platform, we've seen a nice conversion rate bump, increase, so we're happy.
What specific pain points did you have? Why did you need to migrate?
We just felt we needed more flexibility. We wanted to grow internationally, and there were certain things that were holding us back to do that. So by moving on to Magento, we were going to be able to do multi-currency, multilingual sites, etc.
Okay, so regardless of the platform, that doesn't matter, but what advice would you give to other marketers when they're selecting a technology? Because that's a fraught, very scary thing for a marketer to bet their business on a technology to make that major investment.
Right. I mean, it sounds simple, but you really have to do your due diligence and do your homework properly. And not just about the technology, but also I think you have to think once you implement, how you have to have some type of system that you're going to be able to run it going forward. So, there's certain technologies out there which they look great, they seem great, but once you actually implement them, it's almost impossible to find people to come in-house to help support you with that system. So that's a very important thing to figure out. And on the journey when we were looking for technology, and once we actually found the SI to work with it, we felt the most important thing was to really make sure you get a good project manager on both ends. In order for it to work out properly and as seamless as possible, you need to have a good, solid project manager, both on the SI's end and on the e-commerce vendors end, to make sure that the project really goes on as.
Okay, so and migration is a big project, it can be a long project. It can be fraught with pitfalls and errors that you couldn't foresee going in. So for those marketers about to embark on a migration, what's some advice you can give them for some things you learned the hard way?
Well, I think you have to expect, first of all, when it comes to budget, you're going to typically go 10 to 15% over budget. That's just going to happen. But just going back to the project manager again, if you have that project manager, a solid project manager in place on both ends, you're going to be fine. Okay,
that's the underlying technology of your site, but let's talk about also how you communicate value to your customers and trust. That's got to be important for a watchmaker. So, how do you communicate trust to your customers?
So it's an interesting question. We came across a company called Shopper Approved. They offer buyer ratings as well as item ratings. And once we implemented their solution, we saw a 17-time increase in conversion. So basically upon checkout, every customer gets a survey, and telling us about their experience, and then a couple of days later, once they receive it again, they get a second survey, and that has really helped us, really helped build our reputation. Those reviews go out to Google, and I believe, I don't know if I remember this offhand, but I believe we received in, I think it was 3 to 4 months, the amount of reviews we received was more than we received 4 years with a competitor, so that was really tremendous. So that's one thing that's very important. I think it's also important to make sure that your policies and everything is written up properly, so people know what to expect. You have a 30-day return policy, write 30-day return policy. We sell a lot of high-end watches, so reputation for us is very important.
Okay, and so when you get some of that survey information back, so I assume you're using that to partly sell the product, you also use that to, for business intelligence, to improve your service, to understand what customers really want from you?
Well, absolutely. You continuously have to look into and to see where you could do a better job, where you could improve, where you can make it a better customer experience, easier customer experience. So we're continuously looking. We have a dedicated rep who goes through and looks. We learn a lot from the bad, just as from the good. Works both ways.
Yeah, so what have you done to improve your customer experience?
We have extended our opening hours, for example. We also have we implemented live chat which is tremendous. We have a mobile site. As more people move to mobile, we've actually gone responsive, and we've seen that has helped tremendously. And just item reviews is another thing. The more reviews you have on site, the more people are going to come back to you. But another important thing is time of shipment. In this day and age, everybody wants their package today, or even yesterday. So it's important to really get the package out as as soon as possible, and we've been able to do that by we've teamed up with a company called Forder. They do our fraud screening for us, but they do it real time. So that has enabled us to really get the packages out faster.
Yeah, especially for a luxury product, I would assume people have a very high expectations.
Absolutely, they have high expectations. We also have a high fraud rate. So when we have a company like that who's able to come in and take care of the fraud, so a company like that to take care of the fraud, we have a company who takes care of our building our reputation for us. So really, all we have to do is do what we do best, and that's going out and buying goods and selling it to the customer.
Okay, so what's the top piece of advice that you would give to other marketers? Because I'm sure you're also an e-commerce shopper. I'm sure you go to other sites, you're buying things. So what do you see on other e-commerce sites that you wish sites were doing but aren't from your experience?
I think the one thing that Amazon does very well is they let the customer know exactly when they're going to get the package, and I think that's really important. People want to know when they're going to expect the package. So if a customer buys something today, he wants to know that he can get it in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. I think it's very important to let the customer know when he's going to get the package, and if it's on back order, let them know as soon as possible the item's on back order.
So it sounds like a lot of what you've been talking about, the main theme is make an honest promise to your customer and make sure you come through on it.
Correct. And even, and if you don't, just always be honest and always be upfront. You don't have an item in stock, that's fine. People understand for the most part. Just don't let them hanging. Deal with it right away as quick as possible.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time, Osher.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. You can get much more marketing case studies, marketing industry data, tips and tactics at MarketingSherpa.com.